Hi, in this video I will build a closed terrarium to test a few different plants and a soil mixture for another upcoming project. As a container I used a 1.8 liter jar from IKEA and decided to use a bunch of different plants. Asparagus plumosus fern, Fittonia superba and Pilea glauca. I also tried a few aquatic plants like Java moss, Ludwigia, Anubias nana and Riccia moss. As usual, the drainage layer comes first. Here I used some gravel made out of lava stones. Excess water can build up in here to reduce the risk of rot within the soil. To keep the substrate from falling into the drainage layer, I cut some leftover window screen to the appropriate size and laid it onto the gravel. A few pieces of activated charcoal will act as a filter for any pollutants. The substrate is a new mixture I'm using for the first time. It consists of sphagnum moss, sand, cocoa coir, orchid bark, some lava gravel and worm castings. I mixed everything together and put it into the jar. A little bit of water is very helpful when mixing the substrate, to make the sand and any other fine particles stick to the bigger ones. The sphagnum moss and cocoa coir will retain moisture in the substrate, while the gravel and sand will allow water to flow through the substrate. In combination with the bigger orchid bark, we achieve a substrate that is good aerated, while at the same time holds a lot of moisture. This way we can avoid rot in the substrate, which could kill the plants and the whole jar afterwards. Normally you want as less nutrients as possible in a closed system to keep the plants from overgrowing, but I want to add springtails into the jar, and I want the animals I have to be happy, and provide them with everything they could need, so I will probably have to cut back some plants in a few months. I raised the substrate in the back to create a depth effect to make the jar look bigger. The plants are planted in normal potting soil, which you should avoid in a closed system, due to the reasons of drainage and so on. So I removed the dirt and washed the roots. This piece of driftwood will be the centerpiece of the jar, and I will build everything around it. I tried putting the fern onto the driftwood, but the roots were just too big, so I cut them down and put them into the jar. Afterwards, I added the Anubias, the Ludwigia, Fittonia and added Riccia moss and Java moss around the jar in any blank spots. Next I added some dragonstones. In combination with the driftwood, the idea was to make them look like some rocky pillars sticking out of the soil. and put a few pilea stems in some places as a last planting step. I just use cuttings of the pilea which will root into the substrate over time. Because in the beginning they are just fresh and healthy plants, so there is not enough food for the Springtails, I added some leaf litter for them next to the driftwood. Then I added some water. The spray bottle is ideal for this because you can simultaneously clean the glass with it. I used distilled water to avoid any chemicals that may be in the tap water. Time for the new inhabitants. Therefore I got some Springtails out of the little Springtail farm. By picking up a piece of apple I gave them a few days ago to eat. To get them off of it, I tapped the apple onto the glass and the plants. A bunch of Springtails landed in the jar and they immediately started exploring their new home. On this little piece of bark, it looks like a fight club. So, this is a new closed terrarium. Thanks for watching.